Brennan Bernardino will be the opener again. The lefty, the only lefty in their pen. He'll open tonight. Chase Dolander will get the bulk of the innings. Last year on April the 30th, on a Wednesday afternoon at Coors Field, it was Sale, it was Dolander. Chase came out on top. What will happen tonight?
Brennan Bernardino, he's familiar with being an opener. And it doesn't matter what role he's asked to fill. He's done a splendid job so far this year in a Rockies uniform. In fact, Jeff Houston, he's allowed only one earned run this year.
Yeah, on 10 hits and 12 1/3 innings. I think that's the really nice thing about Brennan.
Yeah, it's crazy how they do this and why they do it. I don't really understand it, but that's what they do, and they've been doing it for a while.
Ronald Acuna digging in.
Ronald shoots it to right center. It will fall. It is cut off of the gap by Johnston. So now Ronald Acuna Jr. with a leadoff single extends that on-base streak to 23 games.
They'll put Ronald aboard, and the bat in the hands of Drake Baldwin.
Drake Baldwin deep to left. Beck going back. He looks up and she is gone. Two batters in, 2-0 Atlanta, courtesy of Drake Baldwin. And for Drake, CJ, his first non-solo homer of the year.
It's good to see one for a change.
I don't think this opener situation is going quite the way that they wanted it to.
Certainly not ideal for Colorado.
Here comes Ozzie Albies. All that momentum built up towards the end of the game last night, and they've started to carry that over into tonight's game.
And Ozzie is ready up there. That 2-1 curve is crushed. Ozzie is going to head for second. 3 batters in, and the Braves are a triple away from the cycle.
One down in the top of the first inning. Yesterday, we were talking to Braves manager Walt Weiss about using Michael Harris and how with this tender quad that Michael has, just got to pick your spots, especially playing here. Pitch on the way to Harris, all the way to the backstop. That was a terrible pitch. Over to third base for Albies. I mean, that was 3 feet from Hunter Goodman.
Infield coming in for the Rockies behind Bernardino.
And a strikeout of Harris by Bernardino.
And that is going to be it for Bernardino. So Warren Schaefer had in his mind with Dubon coming up in this spot, he is going to head to the bullpen and bring in Dolander.
And the crazy part about the opener, Ben, it hasn't been that successful for the most part for the Rockies. You get down by a crooked number in the first, Dolander has to hold it where it is.
And he walks Dubon 100 up and in.
That'll put runners at the corners.
Yeah, right after at 100, that worked out just fine. In the inning, 2-run home run, Drake Baldwin. So the Rockies will play from behind when they come up at the bottom of the first.
It's a great start to the season. You can see it now, 6 starts for Chris Sale. How about tonight being his 400th career game? Remember that first year he was in the bullpen. So 400 total games for Chris Sale. Nice round number.
Brenton Doyle, base hit last night. Batting average starting to climb a little bit for Brenton.
Everybody going after this one. And a diving catch out in center field by Mauricio Dubon. He ran a country mile to get it and made a spectacular play.
Now Mateo, I think maybe having a little fun with him. It's like, man, I could have caught that standing up, but it was a great play nonetheless. And for the guy coming in, if he has a chance at it, you get out of the way. You let the outfielder take it when you're an infielder.
Here's TJ Rumfield.
Struck him out. Four-seam fastball, beautiful pitch at the knees. 1-2-3 inning for Sale.
Here's Mike Yastrzemski against Chase Dolander. 1-2. Swung on and missed at 100. Looks like Chase, the extra day off. Spilligus, that's a pretty good heater.
Well, we know he always has 100 in his back pocket.
And a squirrel just snuck out onto the field.
Oh, right over by Tommy Watkins, who jumped. Tommy jumped out of his skin over there.
And he jumped straight up like a rattlesnake was between his heels. Oh, that was hilarious. Climbing in, Jorge Mateo, the shortstop tonight for the Braves. He was 0 for 3 last night.
Driven deep right center off the bat of Mateo. Off the top of the wall. And a double for Mateo here with 1 out in the second. He just missed a Soto blast.
Here's Acuna.
Bouncer toward the middle. Behind the bag, Castro. And Acuna comes up limping. He just got a little ways down the line and then started to limp the rest of the way.
All right, so he grabs his left hamstring there in the back and maybe the back of the knee.
Visibly in some pain right now as he tries to get back to the dugout.
At least him walking on his own, somewhat of an encouraging sign as he continues to kind of grab that left hamstring. So we're hoping it's just a cramp and not anything worse than that.
Left hamstring tightness is what they're telling us. Drake Baldwin 1 for 1 with a homer.
And Baldwin with an RBI single. He has driven in all three. Something he's done all year. Hit with 2 strikes. Nearly trips over the bag, but he's okay, and it's 3-0 Atlanta.
Swung on a miss, blew him away. In the inning, a double by Mateo, and eventually a base hit by Baldwin makes it 3-0, middle of 2.
One out for Willie Castro. Castro 0 for 4 last night, switch hitting second baseman.
Swing and a miss. Nasty slider. And Castro down swinging.
Best of the game, even at this point in his career. Go back to the beginning of last year, and numbers across the board for the Chris Sale slider have been some of the best in baseball.
This is ripped into left field for a base hit. Caro's turned all over that 94-mile-an-hour heater. Rockies' first base runner and first hit.
Climbing in Ezekiel Tovar. And he drives one out towards center field, drifting back Dubon, sprinting back to the wall. He's got it! And then bangs into the wall. He holds on. Long throw back to first base is not in time, but that's an amazing catch by Dubon. Absolutely rattled his head on the wall and held on.
So Jordan Beck smokes this down the left field line. That's going to be extra base as it gets all the way into the corner. We'll see if Gonzalez sends Caros. He will. Here's the relay towards the plate. Not in time. Head first dive under the tag. Beck advances to third. The Rockies are on the board. It's 3-1.
Doyle with a chance to make it a 1-run game.
Have a seat. Swung on a miss over the top of a slider. Strikeout number 3 for Sale. Rockies on the board. 1 run on 2 hits. There's a ball high and outside. A leadoff walk here in the top of the 4th inning. There's a good start.
1 out, 1 on. Riley took off. He was going to get to second easily because he got a great jump, but he can walk in there standing up now. Ground ball. Diving stop by Tovar, but Mateo with that great speed beats it out. Now Tovar certainly saved a run, but Mateo is now 2 for 2 tonight. But the Braves now have him at the corners. And remember, this is the spot in the order that Acuna began in. And Eli White coming to the plate.
1-0 bunted up the first base line, charging in Rumfield. Comes to the plate, loses the ball, everybody's safe. Riley scores, 4-1 Braves. Perfectly executed by Eli White. Rumfield darted in down the first base line, and when he went to draw back and throw, the ball just slipped right out of his fingers. Didn't have a play.
Now you have Drake Baldwin at the plate. 2-run home run and an RBI single.
Braves now back up 3. Baldwin drove in the first 3. He lines this to right. It is over the head of Johnston and off the wall. Coming home, Mateo, and Drake Baldwin is a triple shy of the cycle. He has already driven in 4, and we are only in inning number 4.
Well, the infield in for Ozzie Albies.
Left field, Beck, long way back toward the fence. He's got it, but it will bring home Eli White, and it is now 6-1 Braves.
You know, the interesting thing, Zach, about Chris Sale, I mean, usually you talk about guys peaking, and while they'll use their veteran experience to be good, his success, at least in terms of wins and losses, has gotten better the older he has gotten. He's won 3 out of every 4 games where he's had a decision since he came to Atlanta.
And it's out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left. We go to the top of the 5th. Braves 6, Rockies 1.
And Michael Harris will lead it off. Strikeout and a ground ball to second for Harris.
Rip to right, and Johnston can't come up with it. Now Harris is going to be able to get to second because Johnston had trouble picking up the baseball. Harris was content to stay at first because he's dealing with a quad issue, but after seeing Johnston struggle out there, he moves up 90 feet.
Austin Riley, who has struck out and walked.
2-1 unloaded on. Deep to left field, a no-doubter into the bleachers. Austin Riley just killed that thing, and it was on the move quickly over the wall.
Austin Riley might be back, folks.
A 2-run homer by Austin, and it is 8-1 Braves in the 5th.
438 feet.
His first and third one out.
So Jordan Beck, who knocked in the Rockies' run with a double into the left field corners.
Zapped him. And Chris Sale solves the puzzle there in the 5th inning. Back-to-back Ks of Beck and Dole at the top of the order. Masterclass by Sale. 3 straight change-ups, and that solves Goodman. 4 straight strikeouts for Sale. He has 8 in the game and 2 down in the 6th inning. There's a 1-2-3 6th inning. Chris just mowed him down. And a 1-2-3 frame for the third time of the game. Chris Sale back out there in the bottom of the seventh.
3-2 pitch. There's the slider. Swing and a miss. 9 Ks now for Sale tonight.
So now it's Ezekiel Tovar.
Swing and a miss. Gas. 96. And a season high 10 strikeouts for Chris Sale tonight. Chris Sale empty the tank time right now. He struck him out. Smooth sailing for Chris tonight here in Denver. Season high 11 strikeouts. He goes 7 strong and he strikes out the side to finish it. And now Matt Olson, who had a homer yesterday.
And that is pulled with power a mile high to deep right field, way off into Earth's atmosphere, and a home run by Olson. What a magnificent blow that was to deep right. And he hits home run number 299 in his career. And it's 9-1 Braves on his 11th home run of the year.
And Brett Sullivan, who has one of those 4 hits.
This could be 2 and it could end it. And it is over. The Braves win. And the Braves clinch the series and make some history. Atlanta has played 11 series. They have not lost a single one.